All right, so we'll go ahead and we're just going to get started with a little bit of movement. But again, I think you've already found my link to my free 3 exercises. Those are definitely great movements to incorporate into your daily living, you know, just to get your body moving and also strengthen our backside, which if we have a stronger back, it prevents falls and it helps with our posture, which is great to go along with our cleanse, since that does make you appear a little bit longer and taller as well. So we'll go ahead and just come over. Let's see, you guys can see my mat just good over here. So we'll just come onto your hands and your knees. So if you guys are comfortable kneeling, and we'll get moving. Good. And of course, if your knees are sensitive, just grab like a towel. You can always roll that up and stick it underneath your knees as well. But in this position, just take a moment to kind of draw the shoulders away from the ears, feel like you're lifting out the armpits. And then just take a moment here. We're just going to do a few cat-cows. So we're going to round the spine, look toward your inner thighs, and then extend, open, cat, and then extend. And just take this moment to kind of notice what's going on in your body. Notice how everything. And think about feeling each one of your spines slowly mobilize in each direction. Let's do 2 more. And then on that last one, we'll do 1 more extension. So extending the spine, opening your chest, look forward, then come back to the middle. So find that neutral spine, lift out the armpits, look for that lowest rib cage, lift up. And then see if you can just take one leg, reach it back, bring it back in, and then other leg back. And so as you're doing this, focus on that pelvic stability. Because essentially we're in our neutral position of our spine right now. And we also want to find that as we lay on our backs as well. And your foot can always just touch the floor. You don't have to lift it up. So you can just keep that foot on the mat and glide it out and glide it back in. Good. And feel how your core activates. So every time that leg reaches away, think about your hip bones hugging in towards each other like you're tightening your belt, helping you to fire up that transverse, stabilizing our pelvis. Good. And we'll do 1 more time each side. And then we'll come back to the middle. So both legs together. And let's do that with just your arms. So reach one arm forward, bring it back in, and back in. And the great thing about this all fours position is essentially a plank. So we're working our full body by just holding this movement. Think about nothing shifting in your body as your arm reaches forward. Let's do that 1 more time to each side. You should feel your side. Do this nice and slow, doing 1 leg and then 1 arm, or you can combine it. So reach your arm and your leg out and bring it back in. And remember, your toe can always stay on the mat as well. So don't feel like you have to lift it up high, but you can. So just staying, you know, where you are today with your body, with your movement, and then connecting into that breath. So just find your deeper, fuller inhale and find that nice, deep, long, full exhale. Fueling our movement with our breath. And hopefully even doing a move as simple as this, we're starting to feel a little bit warmer in our bodies. And let's do 1 more time each side. We're going to try to find a challenge in that movement. So let's see if we can just hold our opposite, breathe. Think about lifting out of the armpit like you're pressing out of the floor, working to square those hips to your mat. And just 1 more deep inhale, 1 more deep exhale, and then bring it back in. Not easy, right? And then other side. But strengthening through our posterior chain. So we're trying to strengthen that back body as you hold on this opposite side. And breathing into it. 1 more deep inhale. And then as you exhale, slowly bring everything back in. And then just reach your butt back towards your heels. Stretch those arms forward into kind of a child's pose, if your knees allow, which you guys are doing good. And then take your time as you come back up. Draw the shoulders of the ears. So just hold. Look over your left shoulder to your left hip. And then look over your right shoulder to your right hip. So just laterally flex. You know, of course, if you're out and about driving and you ever need to reach into the back of your car, This is a nice move to make sure we have that mobility within our spines. And let's do one more time each side. And then we'll come back through center, and we're gonna bring our legs forward. We're gonna sit on our butt, and then bend your knees, take your feet out in front of you. And so stack up tall, you're gonna plant those feet firmly on the mat, grab the back of your thighs. And so you're gonna do a flat back hinge. So I'm holding up like right underneath my knee. I'm just gonna hinge back as I straighten my arm, and then come straight back up. So feel that connection, or maybe limit your range of motion. You know, if you're having trouble there. And you could challenge yourself. And then bring yourself back in, holding the back of those thighs. And feeling that core engage. Let's do 3 more of these little preps. Just holding back at the hips. Good. Like a solid plank of wood from the hip to the crown of the head. And then on this next one, we'll hold that lean back. So as you hold that lean back, so you can take your right hand reached up, bring it back down, left hand reached up and back down. Plus all this nice, you know, brain coordination. Where's my right arm? Where's my left arm? Alternate. And as your hand arm on your thigh, just to help support the spine here. And let's do one more time to each side. And then we'll hold one arm up. And as you hold up, maintain that position of the spine. So you can just open the arm and then bring it back up to the sky. So open out to your side and then back to the sky, making sure you're not smacking anything nearby. Good. And deepen that breath. Feel that core engage. So think about that transverse, like your hip bones are hugging in towards each other and that belly button's drawn to the spine. Let's do 2 more on this side. And on that last one, bring the hand back up and then set the hand back on your thigh. Let's try the other side. I've got 2 sides, you gotta do them both. But if you need to reset on your bodies. But think about planting those feet down, holding that thigh with and just finding that connection of your breath. You should feel that core work, right? We're not even really in a crunch or anything, but those abs are working. 3 more.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, they are. 2. And 1 more. And then we'll bring the hand back to your thigh. And then slowly walk yourself all the way down until your head finds the mat. If you need to, just roll your side to get there. Oh, we made it this far. So feet planted firmly on the mat, hands at your side. Let's articulate up into a bridge if you can. So tuck the pelvis, slowly peel up. Fine. If you have anything going on, feel free to just stick with a flat back, but otherwise, we're just gonna mobilize to the spine. But think about your feet. You feel both of your feet flat on the mat. Maybe you have that whole heel, the ball, the big toe ball, the pinky toe on the mat. But your toes are not clenching down through to your life. And if they are, you can relax them now. Good. And find that connection of your breath as you're peeling up and as you peel it back down. We're going to do 2 more of these articulating bridges. And then on that last one, we'll go ahead and peel down and hold on flat back bridge. So think about engaging into your butt, lift your hips straight up, and then flat back, lower your butt straight back down. So flat back, lift your feel the butt cheeks kind of activate as you're lifting your hips, and then you can relax them as you lower back down. Also feel that weight in your shoulders. Inhale as you lower, or as long as you're breathing. I'm always happy with that. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. And so important to do bridging, especially if you've been sitting at all during this quarantine, because it does help to strengthen, again, that backside of our bodies. And do some of that sitting that we do. Let's do 2 more. Let's they feel amazing, right? And let's hold up on this next one. Hold up. So feel free to stay here stable, just holding up into your bridge. Otherwise, you could barely take 1 foot off the floor at a time, like we're marching. So hinging at the hip to take 1 foot off the floor. And you can just barely be lifting the foot off the floor, or you can bring that leg all the way to tabletop. But we really want to focus on the pelvis staying stable as we move a leg. So think about the hips staying nice and stable, not tilting the pelvis left to right. We're nice and centered by activating through our glutes, through our butt cheeks. So let's do one more time on each side. And then we'll take both feet down and then so felt amazing, right? And then roll to your side. And as you roll to your side, you're just gonna keep those knees bent, and you can do a couple things. You can take your hand and hold your head, or you can always lay flat as well, just with a straight arm, and then take your top arm in front of you. So keeping those knees bent, but lengthen your torso, so draw that top hip away from the rib. And then ankles are gonna stay together. We're just gonna open that top leg and close, like a clamshell. Strengthening those glutes for us. And it doesn't have to be a big. So think about your glute helping to open the leg, and think about your inner thigh closing the leg. Exhale, lift, inhale, lower. Finding a position with that arm so your neck feels comfortable here. I can really see you guys better from this way. And we'll just do 5 more. We're almost there. It's amazing how fast you start to set in, right? Hope you guys feel those a little bit. 2 more. And 1 more. Bring that knee back down and then take that whole top leg and lift it up. So your top leg is the height of your hip, but that knee is still bent. So we're gonna keep the knee bent, moving from your hip socket. You're gonna sweep the leg back and then bring the leg forward. Sweep it back, opening up through our hip, and then bring the leg forward. But think about moving from the hip. And that way, as we reach that leg back, we're getting just a subtle opening quad and psoas here. So feel that glute activate as you're kicking back. Almost like we're doing scooter on the reformer. It's really just to stabilize through the trunk of our body, stabilizing our torso. And 3 more. 2. And 1 more. We'll go ahead and bring that leg forward and then just set that leg down. Keep the legs in the same position. Just press yourself up to upright. We're just gonna do a little counter stretch. So we're gonna take your hand onto your ankles and then take your other hand, reach it overhead. Going for a mermaid stretch. So feel that nice stretch that side body. Yeah. And then other way, Wendy.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
I look different than you.
Go ahead and come back down with that arm. Let's sweep our legs to the other side. And let's go ahead and lay back down. Oh, we get to lay down again. So remember, you can always have that arm bent so you have a nice little arm pillow. Keep the arm straight, or you can hold your head with your hand. So we'll go ahead and we're gonna keep those ankles together, just lifting that top leg up and back down. Again, do check in with your torso, making sure that you're drawing that top hip away from the ribs. So ideally, we have that equal space between our ribs and our pelvis on both sides. And you can feel this top arm pressing in front of you just to help support and stabilize the torso as well. And find that exhale, deep inhale. Remember, think about the glute opening the leg, inner thigh helping to close it. Smiling and breathing because it feels amazing. Working those hips. And 3 more of these. 2. And 1 more. And then we'll bring that leg down and then lift that top leg to the height of your hip. So height of the hip. Again, keep that knee bent, moving from the hip socket. We're going to sweep the leg back and then come back to center. So sweep the leg back. And as you come to center, your leg is almost lined up over that bottom leg. And then kick it back. And be mindful you're not kicking so far back that you have to shift your torso. So make it a smaller range of motion if needed. Connecting into that breath. Three more. One more time, sweep that leg back, bring it back to center, and set that leg back down. So pressing up with that bottom arm into your front arm. So your legs are still to the side of you. So take your, if you're on the same side of you, left hand onto your ankles, and then you'll take your right hand up to the sky. Yeah, there you go, Wendy. It's always confusing depending on which way that you're, looking at the camera. And I've seen some setups where it's more mirrored.
Yeah.
I feel that may stretch to your.
To do, then you're doing it right.
Yeah. And one more. So take your hand to the mat, and you're going to turn to face the mat, and then come into that all fours position. We want to be able to get up and down off the floor, no problem, forever and ever. And then take your time as you come down to your forearms, and then bring those legs out, and we'll lay flat on your belly. So as we lay flat on your belly, essentially we're still looking for that neutral spine, so the ribs and the pelvis are lined up. Lengthen your legs, and if your shoulders allow, take those arms straight overhead. Relax the shoulders away from those ears. And let's start with just the legs. So press your palms into the mat, lift just your right leg. And it doesn't have to be a big lift. Think about the length. So as your leg lifts, imagine that your leg is being pulled back behind you. Check in that as you're doing lifting the legs, that your pelvis isn't rocking side to side. So using that core to find that stability within the pelvis. And deepen that breath. And you're lifting that leg via the glute and the hamstring. So think about the butt cheek and the hamstring helping to lift and lengthen that leg. And again, smaller range of motion if needed. Does not have to be a big lift. More important to find that stability within the torso. Let's do one more time each side for the legs. And then let's give that a try for just the arms. So we'll hold the leg steady and just lift one arm at a time. Because we might be tight within our pecs or just in our thoracic spine as well. And again, does not have to be a big lift. And just looking to the mat below you so your neck stays long. And feeling that back of the shoulder, the back muscles helping to lift that arm up. And you can stay here nice and slow, just doing the arm and then just the leg, or we're going to combine it like we did earlier. So lifting your right arm, left leg, and then left arm, right leg. But you could just do the leg, then do the arm, then the other leg, and then the other arm. So wherever you are today, but again, working on that stability through the torso, and find that length. Almost imagine that your hand and your leg are being pulled away from each other as you lift, and find that connection through your breath. And back, helping to move you. My back body here. You can stay here alternating, or let's lift all four limbs up and back down. All four limbs up. And you can always just do the legs or just do the arms, just depending on how your body is feeling. And we'll do 3 more of those. And on that last one, let's see if we can hold it up and then just swim just the legs right to left. Use your glutes, use your butt cheeks. And then slowly bring everything back down. Take your hands on the mat and then press back up into that all fours position. Good. And so once you're in your all fours position, let's go back to those cat cows. So round the spine like a Halloween cat, and then open up, extend. Now, compared to when we first did this move. Maybe you'll feel your back muscles engage a little bit more. Let's do 2 more. And on that last one, we'll come back through center. Let's do that lateral flexion again. So look over your shoulder to your hip, and then other side over your right shoulder to your right hip. And you can allow your pelvis to move here. So allow your hips to kind of stick to the left as you look over your left shoulder, and allow your hips to stick to the right as you look over your right shoulder. And do 1 more time each side. And then coming back through center and then just sitting yourself back. You can take those legs out in front of you and hope you guys all feel good and a little warmed up. Feel the back muscles activated after doing that move, right? How's everyone feeling? That's good.
Good. I feel like I have more movement, you know, last the second time that we did that, so got some juice going.
And yeah, and that's what we want to feel. Fours on the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Julie?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. It was easier as we went on.
Yeah. And that thing is like moving, right? Because you just need to like lubricate all of our joints.
You know, I think this is a perfect time to investigate different types of moving. It's springtime, it's a cleanse, and so it's almost like a movement cleanse. So if you get used to doing a certain type of exercise routine, or you do work on your computer, just give yourself a chance to create a new healthy habit and come down to the floor and do some of these exercises. They feel so great. They feel great.
I mean, because that was those 3 exercises that were in my, but it's even just doing like the 3 basic exercises, it's so great to take a break from like your computer, or if you've been out walking, riding your bike, because even all that stuff is a lot of forward flexed movement. So it's a nice way just to open us up and help with that posture.
And get that core to turn back on, because if you're sitting forward in your chair, the core takes a little vacation.
It definitely does.
Be able to stop your day for 10-15 minutes and jump in here and move, because that's not something I would normally do, you know. And you know, after this I got to go move washers and dryers, so now I'm in good shape.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's a nice way to just even warm up the body, like after you get out of bed in the morning or before you go do stuff like that too, and go do yard work or whatever it might be.
Well, great. We're going to go ahead and share this video, and I hope that you'll check out other videos from Jessica Roberts. She really is a pro. She's got a really lovely way of presenting the exercises. They feel very gentle and very challenging all at the same time. So thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Julie, for being here today. Have a beautiful day.
You too.
Thank you guys for joining.
Thanks, Wendy.
Thank you.